Hey everyone, my name is Danny Thompson. I am so happy to be here today with Tech by Choice, and the topic of my speech today is going to be conveying your message to build your audience, but to do it effectively. And this is something that I like to talk about a lot because I feel like so many people have these amazing ideas and they're trying to show all this talent and these new inventions, and they're trying to build their platforms and they're trying to build their businesses, but they really don't know how to get and convey their message across to the people that need to hear it the most. And that is something that I've kind of figured out, and I try to work with people on, and especially companies. So I'm really glad that I'm able to do this here with everyone here, because I really want to give you the tools that you need to effectively grow your audience to where you want it to be. And I think one of the most important lessons that you need to take away from this is some of the greatest things that you ever learn, some of the greatest things that you'll ever experience in life will be absolutely due to failure. Stop being afraid of failing. You're going to learn so much through trial and error. Be open to that experience. So many people will tiptoe, and if they're losing their balance, they're still trying to catch it, and they're delaying the inevitable of that fall. Fall willingly, and when you fall, you're going to take something back from that experience. That is what is key, and especially growing your audience, because I can tell you, you're in a world full of 7 billion people. You need to experiment and figure out what resonates with people, what doesn't, what is a great idea, what is a terrible idea. Some of the greatest companies in the world have had flawless execution on terrible ideas. For example, Walmart came out with their own social media platform that did miserable in the market space. They executed it in the best way possible, and it failed miserably. So understand, just because you do everything right, it could still go wrong. Figure it out and tweak, and what I always say is fail fast, fail forward, and learn. If you don't learn, then you're bound to fail and fail again in the exact same fashion. So don't be afraid of failing in that respect. So rule number one that I always have is complete your thought. Complete it. And I don't care if it's a tweet, if it's a LinkedIn post, whether it's an ad, whatever it may be, complete the thought. A lot of people push out a tweet or a post, and it's not completing an idea. And what happens with that is the reader, the viewer, when they witness this, when they see this, they're not getting what I call like a dopamine rush. When they see something go to fruition from beginning to end, they get that satisfaction of the result. They get that kind of enjoyment out of it. When you're leaving them hanging, or you're not completing your thought, or you're trying to continue that thought in another area, they're not as interested in this thing the way that you are, or the way that you think it's going to come across in a positive way. Complete that thought. A full thought is worth more than half of a great idea. Put out that entire thought. Remember something, and this is rule number 2 for building your audience and conveying your message effectively. Engagement produces engagement. If you are engaging with your audience, no matter how small, that engagement is going to produce more engagement. That engagement will produce more loyalty to your brand. That engagement will now get them hooked on whatever you are about. And here's the greatest thing. I need you to be the most authentic version of yourself in whatever capacity that is, but do it in an engaging way. Always be authentic, because it's so hard trying to keep up a facade of something that you're not. So if you're engaging, if you're keeping that thought there, if you're presenting an idea that is actually true to you, it's not a lot of work to keep that up. Like, for example, for me, I'm all about helping people grow within their fields, within tech. That's just who I am as a person. It doesn't really require work from me. I can do this all day long. But now if I were to try to become, let's say, a football fan when I'm not really into football, it's going to be a lot of work for me to look up stats and learn what people are into, what teams people like, what teams people hate. It's a lot of work that is not genuine and coming from a really great place that I have. So be the most authentic version of yourself, and it's going to resonate with others, and your growth will come there. And here's one more thing, which is rule number 3. Rule number 3 is this doesn't happen overnight. Overnight successes are huge things. Like, people get impressed by them because it's so uncommon. Your growth is going to be a lot of slow progression. Your goal should always be consistent, small wins. You need those small wins, but you need them consistently. Stop looking for how can I grow overnight, or how can I get to XYZ location in no time. It's not going to happen that quickly. Small progression, inch by inch, and eventually you're going to reach your first mile. Inch by inch, you're going to reach your second mile. And then soon you're going to complete a marathon just by looking back, and you can't believe how much distance you've actually covered. For me, for example, my growth started with Twitter in March. I started really tweeting out in March. In March, I had 300 followers. Now I'm getting close on 50,000, and it's been growing great. And I don't really care about the follower count. It means nothing to me. What matters to me is the engagement in my community that we've built. We've built this supportive community that is supporting others on their journey, that is supporting others in their path to success, whatever that may be. And we're all about the positive vibes. That matters to me. I don't care if I have 1 million followers. I can tell you right now, there's profiles out there with 1 million, 2 million, 5 million followers. And I would never trade what I have for what they have, because I've got a loyal base that wants to help each other grow, as opposed to some random people that are just not really loyal to whatever we're trying to accomplish and do. They're just there. I would rather have that engagement, because that engagement produces engagement. It creates that ripple. If you create enough ripples, it's going to create a wave, and that wave of change is what I want. Make sure you know what you want, because if you know what it is, it's easier to go after it. So make sure you create a vision and keep that vision very concise to what you're after, and make sure you go after it exactly the way you want. No compromises. This is a situation where if you want sugar, don't take in Splenda. Keep it very pinpointed and secure and focused to what you want, and you will achieve that. Rule number 4. If you provoke a thought, you will never leave a mind. If you provoke a thought, you will never leave a mind. The point of what I'm trying to really convey here is, if you make someone think about something, if you make someone think about, like, oh, what am I doing? What is this doing? Now they're thinking about it. They don't forget about it. They let the idea percolate. Now you're ingrained in whatever it is that they're doing. So whatever it is, whatever industry it is, whether it's tech, whether it's being a programmer, whether it's learning, whether it's makeup, whether it's clothing, whether it's sales, whatever it is, provoke a thought. Let somebody think about what you're talking about. What are you talking about that is so interesting to you? What can you tell them to make them think about that? What can you tell them that says, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. What can you convey? Here's another thing. Don't let someone's expectations of you decide what you must do in life. Sometimes we have to disappoint others to actually reach what we want. Don't let their expectations of you dictate who you are. Don't allow someone to say, you know what, I think you're a tech person, that's all you should talk about. If there's something pertinent that you want to talk about that's relative and related to whatever you're about, talk about it. It's okay to disappoint somebody every once in a while. Make sure that you are riding whatever path that you need to ride to success. And whatever path you decide on, stay loyal to that. Simple as that. It's okay if people are mad. There's 7 billion people on this planet. Not everyone's going to like you. There's just no way around it. I look at the Pope. The Pope is, one of the highest religious figures in his area, and there are people that don't like him. If the Pope can't get away with it, you definitely can't get away with it. So, and I know I can't get away with it. So there's people that are going to love you. There are people that are going to like you, and there's people that's not, and that's okay. You can't make everyone happy. So don't focus on the ones that you can't please. Focus on the ones that you can build meaningful relationships with, meaningful connections with, and people that you can honestly have a genuine conversation with, and ideas that can resonate. Focus on those relationships, and that will be the growth that you're trying to find. And that's going to be the perfect way you convey a message, because if people are already gravitating to you for something, you're already speaking what you need to be speaking at that time. Next rule. Your preparation will dictate your destination. meaning you need to act like you are already where you want to be. If you act, let's say you have 1,000 followers right now. If you act like someone that has 1,000 followers, thinking you're small, thinking you're inconsequential, thinking that you're not doing anything worthwhile, you're going to remain in that position. What's funny is when I tweet the same stuff now that I tweeted, when I had 300 followers. And what's funny is when I had 300, people were like, man, what are you talking about? Like some big shot. What are you talking about? Like you're already, giving advice to people and things like that. And then when I hit 5,000 followers, they're like, oh, this guy's kind of onto something. And now they're like, oh, your message is profound. It's the same message that I had before. I'm talking about the same things. I'm doing the exact same thing that I did before that I'm doing now. But because I have the people behind it, now they're saying, oh, he's profound. It's not that I'm profound. This is just who I am. My preparation was already showing where I'm going to be. My preparation now is showing that I'm going to be at the 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. I don't care about the follower count. It's just where I'm going. And the count only represents one thing. And that thing is the amount of people I'm trying to help. So for me, my goal is already solidified exactly where I'm going to be. And I enjoy the fact that people are joining me for the ride. So that way we can continue to help as many people as we are. I don't just want to help people in my area. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I don't just want to help people in Memphis. I love Memphis. I have a lot of focus in Memphis, but now I have the luxury to help people in Asia, in Europe. I'm helping people in Lagos, Nigeria. I have some of the most incredible people that are in the world that I've spoken to are in Lagos, Nigeria, and they have so much passion. Why should I isolate my help in this area alone and not think about them? Why shouldn't I think about the people in this area that are going to be providing the future of tech? So I love that I'm able to do that. I love the passion that has come from this action in this community and in such a short period of time. And I know we're going to do some amazing things with that. But my preparation is showing my destination. Make yours do the same. Next rule. Supporting another person's success will never ruin yours. What does that mean? Just because you have your own level of success doesn't mean you can't support somebody else. Do you know how many successful people? I love celebrating someone's success. I want to celebrate your success. And I don't care what it is. Did you just get a new job? Did you hit a new milestone? I'll buy a cake and live stream me cutting it for you if that means we could celebrate your success together. I will never feel daunted by someone else succeeding. There is enough space on this platform for everyone to succeed. I want everyone to succeed. There's enough space in this marketplace for everyone to reach the riches that they want to reach. There is enough space in the world for everyone to thrive. Why shouldn't we lift up everyone together? If we all rise together, we're going to perpetuate the exact things that we want onto everyone else. If you celebrate that person's success, you will also benefit by being in their presence. You'll get the ideas that they have. They may be able to teach you something. Be humble, be happy, and be open to that experience. Celebrate it. Next rule. If you try something that doesn't work, that's okay. It's okay. Fail fast, fail forward, and learn. I've fallen so many times. I've fallen so many times that my knees have calluses. I've fallen from hardship. I've fallen from praying. I've fallen because the burden's too heavy. I've fallen and fallen. It's okay. Look up, get up, and don't you dare give up. You keep going after it because I guarantee you that steady momentum is going to take you exactly where you want to be. There's no other way around it. It's going to take you there. If you're consistently putting out the content that you need to put out, if you're consistently putting out the tweets, the posts, the Facebook posts, the Instagram posts, if you consistently put it out, it's going to get noticed. Remember, there's 7 billion people on this planet. You could be the most talented person in the world. If you're not showing that to the world, they have no way of knowing that you possess it. So share it, network, message, talk, post. It doesn't matter if for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, only one person notices it. Eventually, it's going to turn into 2. Eventually, that's going to turn into 4. It's going to keep multiplying. So put that weight behind it. Put that effort. What kind of effort do you see people doing when they give up after a 90-day test of putting stuff out? 90 days is not long enough. 90 days is not long enough to bear the fruits from whatever you're trying to get put out. Don't quit because you're bad at something. Keep going because you're bad at it. So if you're not getting any traction in your post, tweak it, maneuver, pivot. Keep going after it until you actually get better at it. If you want to quit when you're actually good at it, because then you could say, I've done what I wanted, but this isn't for me. Don't quit when you're bad. Quit when you're good. You're already in a situation where you're depending upon yourself to try and produce something and you're failing at it. So keep failing until you realize, oh, this is the step I need to make not to fail anymore. It's okay. Just keep going. Next rule is greatness is as common as blinking. You're great. I know you're great. You know you're great. Now it's time to show the world how great you really are. We know you're great. You now have this audacious task to convey your message, to convey your idea, and to convey whatever passion it is that you have about whatever it may be in a tweet, in a post, in an Instagram video, whatever. You need to do that. Now you got to figure this out. We need to convince the world that you're as great as we know you are. I know you're great. You're incredible. You're doing all the right things. You just don't know how to really position yourself. But don't just say, well, I'm not doing it right. Tweak. I don't care if you send out 10 posts in the same 5 minutes, all in a different variation of each other, and then see which one works. Then stick with that. Look at those analytics. There's so many analytics out there. Look at what resonates with your audience. Then tweak your message accordingly. And here's another thing. Don't worry about chasing money. Money comes and goes like the wind. You know, it always goes. Even millionaires all over the world have had money slip through their fingers. It happens. Worry about increasing your skills. Your abilities are your ATM. They will provide for you. They will make room for you. Work on that. Don't go chasing a dollar when your ability is going to bring it to you. Focus on your abilities. Focus on your message. What are you trying to get across? Is your goal to talk about software and tech? Then talk about that. Make sure you're, rule number 1, completing your thoughts and completing your ideas, and give them in a tweet. You have 200 some odd characters to get this entire message across. Are you doing this in an effective way? Whatever thought it is, let's say the idea is too big to break into 3. Break down your idea further. You should know enough about your idea to be an authority on it. You should know enough about your idea to basically convey it to a 5th grader. If you can speak about something and basically break it down to the simplest terms to explain it to a child, you are now knowledgeable on that subject. Work to get to that level so then it becomes easier to convey your messages in easy, digestible ways. And now the craziest thing about that is you're now opening your audience up to not just highly technical, highly leveled individuals, but you're allowing beginners and intermediates to step in and join and be part of the process. So it doesn't have to always be this very difficult, very high level thing. It could be something small. It could be something that is actually open to others being a part of. And that's where you're going to start getting your mass approval, your mass groups and things like that. Invest in yourself until people invest in you. But remember, you're your most important asset. So invest accordingly. You don't need to chase after people to come after you. You are valuable. Haven't you noticed one of the biggest rules in life is if you chase after something, you're not as attractive as if you say no. You don't need to be open to everything. You don't need to be open to everyone. You don't need to be everywhere and nowhere. You are valuable when you attract it to you. So you need to create that pipeline. You need to create these networks. You need to make sure you're putting out the right stuff to start getting people to come to you as opposed to you chasing every single person around. Because you're going to get tired. It's ineffective to go to everybody. It'd be more effective actually if they came to you. So make that effectiveness turn around. So make sure you're putting yourself in a position where they have to come seek you out as opposed to you seeking them out. Be an authority on your subject. Be an authority on whatever it is that you're talking about. And I guarantee you're going to have people high and low come after you. You're going to have people that come wanting to know what it is that you know about. Positive impact creates more positive impact. If whatever it is that you're talking about can convey a positive idea in a great light, that is now something that people will gravitate towards. I like to always say I try to keep the positive side of the internet on my page. I think there's enough negativity out there that we need to have a little bit of positivity to balance it out and to give people a peace of mind. Find whatever niche it is that you want to be about. Make sure you're putting whatever spin it is that you have, put it on there, but show that positivity. Show how great this one concept or this one idea can be in your industry. It doesn't have to be tech. I know this is tech by choice, but people in tech are into many things. Do you have a podcast? Do you have a course that you do? Do you have YouTube videos? Whatever it is, show and provide value, and I guarantee you they're going to gravitate towards you. Now, I will say this, and I don't say this lightly. It is hard to maintain and come up with ideas constantly to try and provoke thoughts. It is hard to try and come up with things that will make people question what it is the norm is for them. Inspire yourself, and you can be an inspiration for others. So try and find ideas. Get curious about things. I don't read a lot of books, but I have a lot of books that I can look into and get inspiration from them. I have a lot of resources online that I'll look into. I'll look into the docs of a language. I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. Let's look deeper. Let's research this. And now I'm inspired by what I just came across. When I get to share that idea, I'm inspiring others with the same message. For example, React. React is something new that I'm learning. I come from a Java background. And so now I'm learning React. And the other day when I was learning hooks, I shared something and everyone started getting into it and talking about different styles of hooks that they write and different ways to apply something into their programs. And it sparked this amazing conversation around React hooks. It doesn't matter what it is that you're into. If you're passionate, if you believe what you believe, if you believe that you know what you're talking about, and you share that with the world, they're going to chime in. And that brings me to another point. I love the idea that every single day of the week, someone is learning programming for the very first time. Right now, you know something that they don't know. Whatever level you may be at, you know something now that they don't know. Share that knowledge with the world. Make a blog post, make a Twitter post, make a video about it, whatever it may be. The reason why I say that is, number one, when you educate others, you're learning it twice. But the other thing with that is you're going to research so much about your topic just because you don't want the trolls to be trolls. Trolls are trolls, and if you give them an inch, they're going to find a way to squeeze in and come in and basically tear apart your entire presentation. So now that you're researching every angle and every little avenue where you can be wrong, you're going to learn so much about whatever subject that is. You won't really understand it until you actually do it. And the first time you put out a bad post, all the trolls come out the woodwork saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're terrible. You're terrible. Even though you have tons of experience in your field and you made one grammatical error or you made one error about one subject, about one thing. Remember, someone somewhere doesn't know something and you do. Share it with them. If you're helping one person, that's a huge win. You don't need to be worried about helping millions of people at a time. Helping one person? Here, I love helping people. That's just me. If I can, and this is my God's honest belief about this, if I help someone get to where they're going, can you imagine all the people that they're going to bring along with them to that destination? Because people don't travel alone. People are going to bring whoever is around them with them. That's why I love teaching people how to code. That's why I love giving people resources, giving them courses, whatever it may be, to help them get to that next level, because they're going to share it with others. My rule, I don't monetize anything that I'm doing, right? I'm not in this for the money. I'm no longer concerned with dying as a rich man on my deathbed. What I am concerned about is the impact that I help instill and leave behind. I want to help as many people as I physically and possibly can, because I want to leave the world that I came into in just a little bit better shape than the way I walked into it. And I think we all have that ability and possibility. And I think it's almost our responsibility to do it. Even if it's our local community, whether it's our neighbors, whether it's people in our area, whether it's outside of our area, we have the potential to create an impact that will basically outlive us and outlast us. Why not do that? So be an authority on whatever subject that is, research it, teach it, and I guarantee you're going to learn a lot about it, but you're going to attract a lot of minds to that. Remember, greatness is as common as blinking. You have greatness in you. I know you have greatness in you. We have this crazy thought process where we think like greatness is allocated and basically designated only for like the celebrities, the rock stars, the Instagram influencers of the world, whatever it may be. It's as common as blinking. I promise you have greatness in you. Haven't you ever been in a position or a point in your life where you were like, oh, I achieved something that I didn't think I could do it. Like you in the beginning, you're like, oh, there's no way that I'm going to do that. There's no way. It's not possible. And then you found yourself one day like, man, you know what? I really, really did this. One of the things for me personally, I love it when someone says, oh, you can't do that. That's not going to happen. It's not going to work. And then I love to go back to them in 6 months when I do it. When I was learning how to code, I was working in a gas station. And I went to my coworkers and I said, oh, I'm learning how to code. And they were like, oh, it's not for people like us. Yeah, what are you doing? That's for the smart people. That's for people, the brainiacs of the world. That's not for the average individual. Don't do that. You're wasting your time. And you know what? You're right. It wasn't for us, but it was for me. And I stayed that path. I stayed that course. And I'm so glad that I did, because I completely changed my life. If you keep that vision of whatever it is that you see, and you're conveying that with your audience, I guarantee you, number one, you don't know whose life you could potentially change. Because for me, to learn how to code, it literally started from an interview with a rapper. The craziest place that you would ever imagine to get inspiration, right? But that is why I try to be so vocal about what I do. I don't know who needs to hear it. That one person that hears it will now start coding and change their life. Or even if it's not tech related, they'll start doing whatever it is that they have a passion for, and they'll reach that level. That's my message. What is your message? One big thing that I tell people to do all the time, and I challenge you to do this. After we're done with this talk, go in your room, turn off your lights. Sit in your bed, all electronics away. 30 minutes, give yourself. Don't think about anything. Then your mind will probably wander. Ask yourself the questions that you don't want to answer. What are you about? What are you actually looking for? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, ask yourself all the questions you don't want to answer. Ask yourself the questions that you've been skipping. Find more about you. You know you, but at the same time, you really don't. I think our life truly changes the day we figure out what we really want. Until then, we're kind of just going with the flow, skipping the tides, and we don't really necessarily know what drives us. But I feel like once you pinpoint that out, everything changes after that. Make your goals big. My goals, I have huge goals. Make your goals so big that when you actually think about it, you get excited. Don't make them small, like, oh, I want to hit, 20,000 followers on Twitter. I want to hit 20,000 followers on Facebook. That's so small. I truly believe you can hit that without really working terribly hard, as long as you make a couple tweaks. Make it big. The follower count means nothing. Are you affecting lives? Are you changing the perception of people? Are you getting your message across in a vital and valuable way? If you bring value, if you come in with a value mindset, if you walk into these conversations with people and you say, I'm bringing value to this conversation. I'm bringing value to this team, to this environment, to this message, to this post, to this idea. They will bring a checkbook. It's as simple as that. If you bring value, they will bring a checkbook. And I don't care what it is that you're sharing. I don't care what business you have. You need to provide value. You need to solve a problem. And don't create a problem to solve. You need to be solving a problem that people already go through. And if you do that effectively, you will absolutely bring home the bacon, so to speak. You will absolutely create enough positive change that people want to invest in you. People want to believe in you. People want to follow you. People want to resonate with your message. People will start writing down some of the things that you say and creating quotes out of them. That is when you become an effective tool in the toolbox. And you will never be the end-all, be-all. Even the most successful people in the world have competition, even though no one follows that one person by itself. People follow hundreds upon hundreds of people. You need to not be the only thing, but an accompaniment. Like, a hamburger by itself doesn't stand out. You have the cheese on it, you have the lettuce, you have the tomato. You need to be able to work well in the company of others. For me, for my niche, I feel like I accompany other accounts very, very well. And so now when people follow me, they're following several other accounts, but I'm in their rotation. I'm in their daily rotation. People message me all the time where I start my day checking out your profile. That is when you know at that point that you are effective, that you are valuable, and that you're bringing the heat to the conversation. You're bringing the heat to everything that you're trying to portray and give. Another thing, invest in yourself. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Invest in yourself because you're going to be the thing that brings people what they need. So invest in yourself, whether that's educating yourself more, invest in yourself, whether that's providing more resources to yourself to be more effective to others. Make sure you're investing in yourself in a very effective way. And also give yourself time to discover what other people are talking about on a similar subject. Get inspiration from them. Learn something new from them. I have no problem in being the dumbest person in the room. Most of the time I am one of the dumbest people in the room, and I'm completely comfortable with that because what I lack in sheer intellect, and I love surrounding myself with really smart people. So what I lack in sheer intellect, I make up for with really good looks. Because come on, who are we kidding here, right? But also what I make up with is my ability and my willingness to soak up whatever they're giving me with a sponge. I will soak it up. I will investigate. I will research. I will remember. And I will then go further to make sure I'm learning what I need to know about my subject. Because how else will I convey my message? I want to give my message to the masses. I want to put out 10 messages a day, 5 messages a day. I want to put out my message before anyone else puts out their message. I want to give my people that follow me my message first in the day before they have the potential to hear it from somebody else. But I want it to be meaningful. I want it to separate itself from the pack, and I want it to convey a full thought. I want that full thought from A to B to be conveyed. I don't want to go halfway. I don't want to leave them unsatisfied. I don't want to give them a broken idea that they can't go crazy with. When someone reads what I'm saying, I want them to absorb it. I want them to trust me as an authority on the subject that I'm speaking about. And I want them to basically go research more themselves. Because I always say, whatever you hear on social media, take it with a grain of salt. Don't take this as basically as a biblical verse, right? Don't take this as whatever it is. Take this as a spark for you to conduct and proceed with your own research. Same thing for you. Create a spark for someone to research more. Remember, if you provoke a thought, you will never leave a mind. So provoke those thoughts. Create these sparks. Let people get inspired because you're inspired. Let people feel passion because you're passionate. Even when I give talks like this, I'm not just talking, giving you words. I want to connect with my people, and I want to connect with all the viewers and listeners on a mental level. I want to share my idea with you. I want you to share your ideas with me. I'm willing, and I want to be, laughing, and I want to be, sharing my vulnerability. I want to fail. I want to succeed. I want to win. I don't want to lose with you. I want you to feel what I feel. And when I do that, you're going to gravitate towards what I'm talking about. If I do that effectively, then I know you're going to get something out of that. That is why I do this. So make sure, and that's my vision. So create your vision and keep it strong. Once you have your vision, don't allow anyone in the world to touch it besides you. Your vision is yours. And remember one thing. We are our own worst critics in the world, but we are also our own best coaches in the world. You have the ability to be hypercritical of whatever it is that you're doing, or you have the ability to pinpoint where you're weak and pivot and make it very useful for yourself to do new things with. It is completely up to you. Be critical, but be willing to pivot to where you need to be. Fail fast, fail forward, and learn. Fail fast, fail forward, and learn. When you learn, you're able to convey your message better and better. You will absolutely hit new levels. You will absolutely be able to do new things if you pivot quickly. But if you stick to something that's failing over and over and over, if you keep using the exact same ingredients, you keep using the exact same recipe, you're going to come out with the exact same food. There's just no other way around it, right? So this is the same thing here. If you're putting out the same message over and over and over, and you're getting 2 likes on a post, 3 likes on a post, no one's really engaging with it, you need to make a tweak. You need to change it. So for example, if my post says something like, I think React is the best framework out there, for whatever reason, and let's say only 3 people liked it, maybe I need to elaborate more. Maybe I'm not conveying my thought completely. Maybe, and let's go figure, like this is not something that's resonating with my audience. Maybe my audience are all Java people, so talking about React really isn't helping in this situation, right? So now if I tweak and say Java can accomplish everything, Java's on 1 million devices, and now I have 10 likes, I just got, over a 70% increase. I know I'm doing something right now. Now this is starting to resonate more. Let me figure out where this niche is that all my followers are at. Let me figure out where the potential for my entire market is. Let me proceed and go down this path, and now we're cooking. For my path, in March I had 300 followers. My preparation was showcasing my destination, and I kept tweeting things. Basically in March I said, I'm going to give this a real shot. April 1st I had 1,000 followers, and I kept pushing content out. I kept pushing posts out. I kept posting. And in May I had 15,000 followers. I gained 14,000 followers that month. And I kept pushing content out. I kept growing. And then in June, I had 28,000 followers. And I kept pushing content out. I kept growing. And in 3 months, I had 30,000 followers. And just kept growing. Now, on average, I get, around 16 million views a month, give or take. And it just shows that when you keep your message concise, you keep doing it for the right reasons, and you keep going down the level of market that you have, you can absolutely produce the change that you want to see. You can produce the results that you want to see. You can produce something that you're going to be proud of, and it keeps you really consistent in the progress. Remember, consistent small wins is what we're after. We don't need an overnight success. We need constant repetition. We need constant enforcement. And don't let my metrics throw you off saying, oh, well, he gained 14,000 followers in a month. I'm gaining 5. This ain't for me. Don't worry about what I gained, what I didn't gain, or don't worry about what somebody else gains. Stop comparing yourself to other people on social media. Be you, because that's exactly what people are going to sign up for. They're not going to sign up because you look like me or you sound like me. They want you. There's so many imitations of the same people. Be you, and you will basically grab people. But if you try to imitate somebody else over and over and over, there's so many imitations out there. They don't grow. They don't do a lot. You'll gain a small section of people, and that's about it. I see people copy my tweets all the time. I see people steal my tweets all the time. They got, 2,000-3,000 followers, and they don't really grow from there. You cannot grow if you are not the most authentic version of yourself. Because if you're going to be off-brand soda and people have Coca-Cola, they're still going to go to Coca-Cola whenever it's available. Same concept here. Don't be a watered-down version of somebody else. Be you, and I guarantee you, you're going to have people come out of their way to follow you. You're going to have people come out of their way to come see what it is that you're about. Engagement produces engagement. So if you're getting replies and comments on your post, make sure that you're replying to them. Thank them for, whatever it is that they're saying, or engage with them and keep that conversation going. Add value to the conversation, and that keeps people engaged with what, that it is that you're sharing. Now, one thing you need to understand about social media in particular, people will unfollow you for the smallest reasons possible. Do not sweat that. It is not a big deal. I can tell you every week I lose about 250 followers, give or take. And some of them are like those bot accounts that add, follow, whatever. But I mean, some of them are just regular accounts. When people follow you, they're following you for one thing. And when you deviate from that, they have no hesitation to unfollow you because they don't want to see that. So make sure you have an idea of what people are following you for and try to stay around that. And if you deviate, just know that there's a possibility and potential that people will unfollow. It's okay. But as long as you're staying true to who you are, then it's all worth it in the end of the day. Make sure that you understand some of the greatest things that you ever learn. Some of the greatest things you will ever experience in life will be due to failure. I said this at the beginning and I'll say it again. You will fail. Simple as that. And instead of avoiding it, just accept it. I guarantee you right now, you're going to fail at least 100 more times in life. Surprise, you're going to fail. So now that you know that, be willing and open to it. Fail, but learn from it. A failure is only a failure when you don't take anything back from it. And here's another thing about failing. Even when you're out with your friends, no great story starts with, oh man, I won the lottery a million times. No, it starts with, oh man, you won't believe what I went through. Those are the great stories. Those are the great lessons that we share with each other. Use those lessons, learn from those lessons, grow from those lessons. Even talk about them. You can talk about, oh, I did this and I failed. And people are going to engage with that. They're going to grow with that. They're going to say, oh, so-and-so failed because of this. Let me learn from that experience. That is going to be engagement that you can have, that you can thrive off of, and that you can grow with. Make sure when you're composing your messages, don't just look at it as, oh, this is something I did, so people should like that. Instead, look at it from, if I was just coming across this post, is this worth me actually stopping my scrolling on my timeline to see? Because remember, you're competing with other people in their timeline. So if one person's following 500 accounts, you're competing with potentially 500 tweets at the exact same time, trying to get their attention. Is your message really valuable enough for them to stop scrolling? Is your message really conveying something that will attract them? If it was me and it wasn't something that I posted, sometimes I'll look at my post and you know what? That's just me writing something to write something. That's not really conveying a message. That's not really conveying an idea. That's not even talking about something that's worthwhile that will produce more engagement. So make sure that whatever you're posting, you understand that you're competing with other people on that person's timeline. Make sure you're talking about something of value. As I always say, for me, I had a lot of doubts going into this space. I really questioned a lot of the things that it is that I was doing, that I was experiencing. Imposter syndrome is a major thing in my life that I fight with all the time. And I'm constantly saying, am I good enough to do this? Am I good enough to even be talking about this? Sometimes I feel crazy that people are listening to me because there's so much more value and education out there from high level individuals that have accomplished a lot. I go speak at all these companies. I'm like, why are they listening to someone like me? And I question myself saying, I don't know what it is that I bring to the table. So start dissecting what it is that people are looking at you for. What are they interested in you about? Dissect that. Figure it out for you, not just yourself, but your audience. Because once you know what it is about you that they like, you can dig deeper into that and make sure you're showcasing it in the best light possible. Those lights, that Basically, that ability is going to bring you more people, more ideas, more fruition, more everything. And that is where the value is going to be. But if you just kind of, jump around here and there and you don't pinpoint what it is that people are enjoying the most about you, you're going to have a very hard time knocking it down, getting it where you want it to be, and making sure that you are leaving the impact that you want to leave. And for me, one of my goals is always to leave the viewer, leave the listener, and leave the reader with some idea of who I am. And my goal isn't for you just to remember me in that post, but it's to remember me afterwards. Provoking thoughts, provoking ideas, provoking emotion. Provoke something and let them reach onto it. And this will be the last idea. I fight with imposter syndrome a lot. I fight with, self-doubts a lot. Even when I was getting a job in tech, I was working in the gas station, I was frying chicken. And I kept telling myself when I was going to these interviews, like, God, I'm walking in here smelling like Popeye's chicken. And, they don't want someone like me, especially now. Like, why are they listening to me online? I'm a professional chicken fryer. Why are they following me? Why are they into this? What are they doing? What am I talking about? Especially in these interviews, like they're saying, they need a developer, they need a computer professional. They don't need someone that knows how to run a register. They don't need someone that talks about frying chicken. You smell like frying chicken. They see right through you. My thoughts, my doubts, my imposter syndrome, and all my doubters, I absolutely made it to what I wanted to be. I'm Danny Thompson. I'm a software engineer. I'm a community leader of the biggest developer group in my city. I have a massive following, amazing followers that want to help others the way I want to help others and keep that growing. We absolutely made it. I know that you will reach amazing levels, and I cannot wait to see where you land after this. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm D Thompson Dev on all social media. I'm Danny Thompson on LinkedIn. And it was an absolute pleasure to be a part of this event. Tech by Joyce, thank you for having me. We have so much amazing talent in this world that just needs to showcase it. And I hope we help provoke a thought and complete an idea. And we engage to produce engagement. And we prepared to showcase our destination in an effective way. Thank you.